Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Mara, for this short introduction. Now, maybe we can go ahead with the presentation of the department in order to save some time. Let's talk a little bit about our university, Harokopio University. It's a relatively small institution in downtown Athens. It has 3 schools. The School of Environment, Geography and Applied Economics with 2 departments there, the Department of Economics and Sustainable Development and the Department of Geography. We have a strong School of Health Sciences. It's called School of Health Sciences, Science and Education, where we have the Department of Nutrition and Dietetics. And there is our school, the School of Digital Technology, which currently hosts the Department of Informatics and Telematics. Now, the mission of the department, as we can see it, it's to train the future software engineers and software developers, but also provide some knowledge to Internet of Things, applications and technologies. So this is the telematics part of our name. We are trying to carry out cutting-edge research in the fields of software engineering, Internet of Things, big data and machine learning and other areas. I will talk about them in a short. Now, our story, we were founded in 2007. We are I think the youngest informatics, computer science or computer engineering department in Greece. This was the vision of the late Professor Karabatsos, who was instrumental in organizing and getting the department going. In 2008, we enrolled our first undergraduate students. In 2012, we launched our Master of Science program. In 2014, we had an external evaluation, which we think went very smoothly, given that we were not as staffed as we are now. And in 2019, we participated in the initiative of the Ministry of Education, which seek to accredit all departments, all university departments, and we got full compliance during that procedure. Now, the study programs in the department are, of course, the undergraduate program, the postgraduate program, which has our main postgraduate program. It's the Informatics and Telematics. It's named after the department. And we also participate in a new Master of Science program, Digital Health Analytics, in collaboration with 2 other universities. And of course, there is the doctoral program where we enroll our PhD students. Now, what makes us different from other universities or other departments? Well, our students, our graduates usually refer to it as the Harokopio experience. I cannot precisely define what this means. It turns out that it means something different to everyone that uses it. But from what we have seen, our students, our graduates, appreciate the relatively small number of undergraduate students, the pleasant environment that is in the department and in the university, the fact that our faculty members are young and there are good student-faculty relations, the fact that we have modern computer labs which were available 24/7. Now with the COVID, there are some restrictions, and we try to have an evolving curriculum. The last changes in the curriculum was last year, where we have made some changes that we believe have better shaped our undergraduate and postgraduate curriculum. Now, our undergraduate studies contain 3 pillars: computer science, information system, and networking technologies. But networking technologies We try to keep them down related to the IoT, to the Internet of Things. You can find courses with basic programming, basic mathematics, networking, digital system and computer architecture, databases, algorithms, machine learning, data analytics, information system, and information and communication economics. Now, to give you an idea of how the undergraduate population has evolved, we started with a few students in 2008, the first year that we went live. We had 36 students. Now, the number of students in Greece is determined by the Ministry of Education, so the department has very little control on it. And as you can see, there are large fluctuations. Sometime in 2015, we had about 200 incoming students, new students. Now we are somewhere around 158 to 150, if I remember correctly, the 2021 statistics. Okay, so how do we rate regarding the preference of high school graduates to come to our department? Well, in Greece, there is the examinations in order to enter in a department in a school are given at a national level, and there is what we call the minimum admission score that is determined mainly by the preferences of the people taking the exam. So if you have a high admission score, that means that you are on top of everyone, of every high school graduate preference. Of course, the goal is to have as maximum as possible for the admission score, because it mainly determines the quality of your new students. So, despite the fact that we are relatively young, at least much younger than the other ones that I'm describing here, there are somewhere around 30 computer engineering, informatics, computer science departments in Greece. The number is impressive. We believe that we rate somewhere around the 1/3 upper departments. In front of us, if you see, I don't know if you see my pointer, it doesn't matter. Higher than that, there are some institutions that have been around and are very well established and have been around for many years. For example, the top institution in our field is the National Technical University of Athens. It has been around for something like 100 years, and the department there has started, I think, somewhere in the mid-80s. So they are much more well established than us. Now, the course classification, you can find some broad categories and where the student workload exists. There are the main pillars are basic programming, system and software engineering, but there are also other classes, other courses, as I mentioned. And we also try to give our students the basic math behind, the basic mathematic knowledge behind that is needed for computer science. Now, our school is 4 years minimum. The undergraduate must be here for 4 years at minimum in order to graduate. There is an undergraduate thesis that is compulsory. This is an undergraduate project. It lasts 2 semesters. Now, starting next March, in 1 month, we expect to launch what is called the industry-driven thesis, where we collaborate with an external company from the private sector, or some other body from the public sector to to determine the theme of the undergraduate thesis together. And there is also the internship program that it lasts 3 months, and it's carried out at either at the public or the private sector. Now, the number of graduates is constantly increasing because we have many more students coming in. And what we found when we asked our graduates how are they doing, we found that around 75% of them found jobs related to IT within 6 months after graduation. This is rather impressive because in Greece there is also the obligatory military service. So this takes out some time where people are just in the army, not seeking jobs. 91 of our graduates are employed in their field of study in information technologies, and 80% of them are employed in the private sector. Now, what we found that the majority of our graduates are doing is software development and web applications. And there is a massive, need in the market, in the Greek market. Even if you talk to the Ministry of Education, they will say that we need more graduates related to computer engineering or information and communication technologies. Okay, our personnel, there are currently 17 full-time faculty members. We expect three more to come by the end of 2022. There are 2 full-time teaching assistants. We are relatively young. Our average age is something like 46 years old. We have 6 adjunct faculty members, 4 full-time administrative personnel that is dedicated to our department. And the current statistics say that no faculty member has more than 6 to 7 hours a week of teaching time in the undergraduate program, and 3 hours a week teaching time in the postgraduate program. So we hope that this leaves some free time to focus on research, on funding, or in the department administration. Now, the teaching expertise of our members is more or less well suited to the previous pie that I showed you regarding the course classification. If one goes through the numbers, and okay, this is just teaching expertise, this is not research fields or whatever. We believe that we currently have a good match between what we need in the undergraduate department, undergraduate studies, and what we have as a teaching expertise. Now, the students, of course, the student services are very important. There are no dedicated student dorms yet, but rooms are shared with other universities in the area. There is, of course, a student restaurant offering 3 meals a day, which is free for the majority of the students. This is a government policy based on family income. Special discount for public transportation. There is a dedicated student advisor, a faculty member from the department, which is there if should the student need to ask something, they can respond to questions. There is a very good student support office which supports students not only academically, but in time of need, of distress. They are there to help. They're very well organized, and they have, how do you call this? They can help students cope with the anxiety and distress of studying. Now, there is, of course, the institutional library. There is a dedicated career office. which helps graduates link with and students link with the industry. An internship office. The department secretary accepts visitors daily during working hours, and there is, of course, the Network and Operations Center, which is there to help students with problems regarding access to electronic services. Now, the infrastructure, we have a privately owned building near the Tavros metro station, which is very close to the main campus. There is one large lecture hall, 3 smaller lecture halls, 2 computer labs, Windows and Linux. They are accessible, as I said, 24/7 and or nearly 24/7, and they have 35 workstations each. These have been upgraded. These have been all upgraded to something like i5 processor with 60 gigabytes of RAM and 204 gigabytes of SSD. There is an additional computer lab for PhD students, and there is a digital electronics and communications lab. We are trying to convert this into an IoT lab with Raspberries and Arduinos and other such equipment. Now, the platforms that we use both for research and for teaching, there is, of course, the main student portal. It's the studies platform. This is from the institution. It handles all grades reporting, student applications, etc. There is the asynchronous e-learning portal. It's called eClass, where we upload all materials related to our courses. There is the private cloud that we maintain for projects, for student projects and research. It's on a VMware infrastructure and Ovid infrastructure. Ovid is the open source upstream of Red Hat Enterprise Visualization. So most of our VMs actually are in this platform, in the Ovid platform. There are, of course, credits available on Google Cloud and Azure, and Microsoft Azure, for our both for teaching and research purposes. And we also give students access to software as a service platforms. Google Workspace for Education is one of them. Actually, our institution email is in Google Workspace for Education. And we also have access to Office 365 suite. Now, our postgraduate programs, the main postgraduate program, as I said, is running from 2012. It takes full-time students 1.5 years to complete. The students pay tuition for this. It has 3 flows. The first flow seeks to build what we call full stack developers. The second flow is mainly focused on DevOps, engineering, and cloud and networking admins. And the third flow is mainly for training IT business executives. And we hope that the second postgraduate program, Digital Health Analytics, will be a nice complement to the above flows. It will start running sometime in the beginning of March. The number of postgraduate students is fluctuating, but it's something around 40 new admissions to 40 to 50 new admissions every year. The number of doctoral candidates is increasing. We started with 3 only doctoral candidates in 2008. Now we are something like 58 in 2020, and I think we have surpassed 60 doctoral candidates in 2021. The fields of doctoral studies are given to some extent with this infographic, but they're mostly focused on systems, modeling, networking, machine learning, but there are also some students focusing on technology, management, and IT economics. Now, what is a very important part for us is the course evaluation procedure that we have. Every semester, the students complete online anonymous questionnaires regarding the courses they have undertaken, the overall service quality from the department and the university and the infrastructure. Each semester, the instructor of the courses receive a report, a document containing the statistics for their courses. There is also the quality assessment unit, which is an internal committee of our department, which has access to all this data and can propose corrective actions. What's even more important is that students have access to their course evaluation statistics. We started doing this from this year. We give students the access to the statistical analysis of their evaluation, and also starting from this year, we give best course awards for both postgraduate and undergraduate courses based on these evaluations. Now, if we take a look at the undergraduate course evaluations, we see that the majority of the courses are graded rather well, above 3.9 out of 5. There are, of course, some courses that are not graded as high as that, but it is sometimes the nature of the course itself that is difficult. You may grade, let's say, a C or C++ course higher than, let's say, signals and systems. So maybe this enters as well, but in any case, we are always trying to improve both courses and instructors. The postgraduate course evaluation has more or less the same picture. Probably the rates are even higher for postgraduate courses. And if we take a look at student satisfaction, it seems that the majority of the students are very satisfied both by the lecture halls, the computer labs, and even more with the department administration personnel. Maybe this is a reflection of what we call the Harokopio experience. The administration personnel is always very friendly and is always there to meet, to respond to questions and help our students. Now, if we take a look at the research output, we see that the numbers are fluctuating, but last year we had something like 6 total publications per faculty member, and 3 of them on the average were journal publications. And the research impact measured by self-citations, by citations excluding authors publishing the paper, has a tendency to increase. I think in 2020 it was something like 98 citations per faculty member. This is a yearly citation. These are yearly citations. The research areas, okay, if we draw the research subject from Scopus for each one of them, for each one of us, you get this kind of infographic. Of course, computer research and engineering are very strong here, but there are also some other areas, something like management, simulation, even mathematics, systems, and I think I saw somewhere about economics, physics. It's quite diverse. This is gathered from information existing for each faculty member at the Scopus database. Funding. Where funding is a bit tricky, there is a tendency to each year to increase funding, but there are fluctuations depending on the on the timetable of national and international calls. In 2020, we closed something with something along the lines of 1 million euros in total. Funds coming from new projects. So maybe this is something that we can work with, but there is definitely room to improve. The department has we believe that it has strong social media presence. The YouTube channel is available for something like 1.5 years now. We are actually quite proud of it because it contains lectures in Greek from our faculty. This is publicly available online. We believe that it may help our dissemination campaign. There is also, of course, the official, let's say, LinkedIn and Facebook page. Now, some partnerships that we have for the Erasmus project, it was rather active during before the COVID pandemic. We expect a reboot to happen in 2022. Hopefully the COVID pandemic will end by then. In 2019, we had something like 13 outgoing students and 2 incoming students. Now, the incoming students is something that we need to work with, have more students coming in from other countries. But anyway, there are also some MOUs, some memorandum of understanding between industry and public bodies. It regards staff exchange, both primary on a national level, and research cooperation and stuff like that. Now, the accreditation external evaluation, as I said, is very important for us. It's a major milestone in 2014 and 2019. You can find the accreditation report. It's on the shared Google Drive folder. If I can just take some takeaways from the panel evaluation, it consisted of professors, university professors from abroad. What we took out of it was that we need to link with external stakeholders, both at the national and an international level, and we need to have a more focused and broader dissemination strategy for what we do here in the department. Now, these, of course, are things that are not very easy, but we try to establish this because it doesn't matter how well you are doing if other people do not know how well you are doing. Now, as I'm finishing this presentation, I was thinking of writing down some of the challenges that we need to face, and these are not very well organized as I see it, but this is what comes to everybody's mind that is a faculty member or an administrative part of the department. Now, we would like to move to a higher preference group regarding incoming students, approach more established departments, have higher quality of incoming students, minimize the graduation delays. Unfortunately, there are graduation delays in our undergraduate students, and I think the main reason is that the market here in Greece is very aggressive, and sometimes they are willing to hire people not finished their undergraduate degree because there is a lack of people, of IT people in Greece. Now, we need to complete hiring additional faculty and teaching assistants. We have expecting to have 3 of them. Hopefully this will be done by 2022. The problem in any department that is growing is to maintain the excellent faculty relations that we have. This is not a euphemism. I think the faculty relations are very important, and we spend a lot of time convincing people that they are part of a group. Their opinion matters. It's not just, let's say, the chair deciding something and no one else has a saying in this. It's quite the opposite. And this is partly due to how the Greek university is organized. Certainly, we need to boost the dissemination strategy in our campaign. I always tell our administrative staff that we need to automate more administrative tasks, have less and less requests coming by email. We need to organize something in terms of an IT system. There are some tasks that have been automated, but we need to do better here. The key here is also to distribute the governance and the administration of the department. It should not only fall to the department chair, but the committees, the departmental committees all of them should play their role. We are trying to establish this now. Of course, take advantage of your experience of the advisory committee to identify new goals, maybe you can see something that we don't. Develop more monitoring tools for research output, automating the procedure, not asking people again and again, what are your publications in this year and stuff like that. This should come out automatically, something like an academic dashboard or I don't know. Obtain significant feedback from the industry regarding our curriculum. Okay, our graduates seem to find jobs easily, but what does the industry, what does the Greek industry expect from computer science or informatics graduate? Okay, we are in the process of redesigning our website to have a modern look. It has been around for something like 10 years. We need to redesign it and formalize a procedure for monitoring PhD candidates, not only on their research output, which it's something that we already do, but also monitor teaching contribution or even administrative contribution to the department. Now, in terms of internationalization, we seek to implement at least one international English-speaking MSc program. There are some thoughts on what this can be. Explore the possibility of short-term courses in the form of summer schools with universities abroad. And the key issue here that we will be facing sometime soon is how do we expand the School of Digital Technologies. As I said earlier, it has only one department. If we were given a chance to create another department to fall under the umbrella of the School of Digital Technologies, what will it be? Should we head for something like data science? Should we head for something like technology management? This is an active discussion, I think, within the department. And, okay, revisit some of the flows of our MSc program, which the second one in particular is not always performing as well as we would like in terms of interest from prospective students. Maybe just drop the telecom part and focus clearly on system administration and DevOps. This is also an active discussion. And attract better candidates for our MSc program, involve them in our research projects, and establish more Erasmus collaborations for our students. Now, the thing I always leave for last is develop a clear open source culture. Perhaps I failed to mention that most of the tools that we use are open source. This is partly because of need and partly because of design. And maybe we need, as a department, to move completely away from proprietary solutions to clearly open source solutions, give our students the chance to witness the open source initiatives during their studying period. So, surprisingly, this is all that I had to give you. I would like to thank you for listening. I will try and stop the recording.